Brace yourself for a debate that's about to shake up both rural America and the energy sector. The White House is actively considering a controversial biofuel policy that could leave millions of gallons of ethanol in limbo, according to insiders. If you're a farmer, a refiner, or anyone invested in America's fuel future, this is something you won't want to miss. Here's what's going on. According to multiple sources close to the negotiations, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has proposed a new plan, now being reviewed by the White House, that would force only the largest oil refineries to take on about 50% or less of the biofuel blending volumes that were recently waived for smaller refineries. In practical terms, that means of the 1.1 billion gallons of biofuels recently exempted, possibly just around 550 million gallons would be reclaimed by large refiners. The other half, potentially, gone for good. But here's where it gets controversial. This move is likely to delight the oil industry, who say these requirements are already burdensome and costly, but frustrate biofuel companies and Midwestern lawmakers, who believe that every gallon matters for rural economies and for the nation's push toward cleaner energy. Supporters of ethanol and other renewables have been urging the government to make refiners blend in every last exempted gallon, restoring demand lost whenever a waiver is granted. Are we seeing the government split the difference, or is this a betrayal of rural interests? And this is the part most people miss. The EPA claims its plan is all about balance. The idea is to stabilize the price of renewable fuel credits, known as RINs, preventing them from either skyrocketing or crashing, while also sparing refiners from potentially crushing new costs. In fuel markets, RIN prices can swing wildly, so moderation here could keep both industries from financial whiplash. To understand why this matters, it's important to know that under the Renewable Fuel Standard (RFS), refineries are required to blend billions of gallons of biofuels like ethanol into the nation's gasoline and diesel every year, or else buy credits if they come up short. Smaller refineries can ask for temporary exemptions if complying would cause them serious economic harm. But every time the EPA grants one of these waivers, that's less demand for corn, soybeans, and other biofuel crops, a hot-button issue in agricultural states. In August, the EPA approved more than 170 of these small refinery exemption requests, some dating as far back as 2016, an unprecedented catch-up that now demands a broader fix. However, the agency is only legally required to come up with a replacement plan for gallons exempted from 2023 onward, since older fuel credits have already expired. What does this mean for the fuel market? If the EPA only reallocates a fraction of the exempted gallons, the market could be flooded with extra renewable fuel credits, putting downward pressure on their price. This could help refiners, but could also mean less payout for biofuel producers who rely on those prices to stay competitive. No final decision has been made yet. The White House is still weighing its options, and industry observers expect a formal announcement before an October 30th deadline to set biofuel quotas for 2026 and 2027. A senior White House official put it this way: the EPA is in the process of evaluating a range of options that strike an appropriate balance between obligations, reallocation, and other factors that will deliver for farmers, consumers, and American energy dominance. Here's the tug of war. The biofuel industry and many of its allies in Congress argue that oil companies should be required to blend in all of the previously exempted gallons, plain and simple. On the other side, the oil industry resists any additional requirements, framing them as unfair and economically damaging. This attempt at compromise underscores a bigger ongoing battle between big oil and the agricultural lobby, each wielding immense political power. That ongoing standoff risks complicating efforts by former President Trump and fellow Republicans to unite their party at a crucial time. To put it in perspective, the total number of RIN credits waived for 2023 and 2024 adds up to about 1.4 billion, equivalent to roughly 1.1 billion gallons of renewable fuel. And with pending requests for 2025 still in the pipeline, the stakes could get even higher. So where do you land on this? Should big refineries be forced to make up for every gallon waived? Or is the EPA's plan for partial reallocation a smart middle ground? Is the government caving into oil companies? Or is it saving consumers from higher fuel prices? Drop your thoughts below and join the conversation. This is a fight with implications far beyond the gas pump. And your opinion matters.